This is the Promise to Succeed podcast with PTS Marketing Agency. I'm Roberto Williams, and we get real stories from real estate agents. We get their stories, break it down into clear insights, and show you the experts, the top of the top in the real estate field in Jamaica. And we give you one action that you can use from their insights this week. Today, we have a wonderful real estate agent with us by the name of Ryan Martell. So Ryan Martell is with Valerie Levy, one of Jamaica's top real estate companies. And he has been in the real estate industry for over 15 years now. So Ryan Martell is somebody who is not afraid to go anywhere the customers are, anywhere the clients are. If they have a house to sell somewhere they want to buy, he's not afraid of anywhere in Jamaica. He's an all-round agent. So Ryan, how are you today, man? How are you doing today?
I'm privileged to be here, and I just want to share my story with the viewership and the listenership. And for those who are in the industry seeking, searching, and those who might not even know that they're at this, to even start considering real estate.
So first of all, Ryan, 15 years in the real estate industry. What inspired you to get started in this industry? I know it's not easy. What inspired you to get started?
Interestingly, my journey in real estate started from a young tender age, because ever since I played the game of Monopoly, of earning, passing go, putting up houses, putting up hotels, and collecting from persons has always been intrigued. That was just the tip of the iceberg starting. However, as I get older, I ventured out into what the traditional people would say should be careers. And so you started doing that. However, while at work one day, I was just there talking to another coworker, and I said, I always have the interest in becoming a realtor. He said, it's a simple process, and all you need to do is to go up to UTech, do the application, and they will guide you. And so, that day never passed. I went up there to find out from them. They said, oh, we have a cohort coming out shortly. So you would do the application. I did the application. When I was selected for the course, I did the course. I was successful at the course. And then I said, if there was ever any company I was going to work with, there's only one company. And that's Valerie Levy Associates. Glory be to God. Most I was successful when I went there to do the interview, because Mrs. Lorraine Levy Finlay, so she was also one of the lecturers on the course. And so she accepted me there. And I've been there since, and I'm happy with the experience.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you're a man of action. Basically, you heard about it the same day and you took action the very same day. Eh? That's amazing. Yes. So what was your first year what was the first year in real estate like for you?
And the first year of real estate was probably one of the most troubled year in my real estate career. Because you get a call, somebody have a listing, somebody want to do something, and those are some of the stories that I tell you, even persons who just want to drive out, and because they say they're coming down and they like this property and they want to see it, you're doing the due diligence, you just say, well, yes, I'll take you. And by you get to Montego Bay, you see they walk around 2 times at the properties and they say, oh, we're not going to be taking. There are some stories. Wow. But the first year was an exciting year. It took me about 6 months to land my first sale. And the first sale I landed, that I would say is my most memorable moment. It was a house sold in Cherry Gardens. And the person who bought that house was somebody you would never think would buy that house. Some people stereotype persons, and that is why, for me as a realtor, I try not to stereotype. It doesn't matter who calls, they want something. Treat everybody equally. Because what I found is that when that house was listed, everybody said to me, that house is gotta be one of the most difficult houses to sell. And believe you me, I listed that house, and it didn't took me a week to get somebody interested in that house. And when the man just drove up, went inside the yard, and the man said, how much they say? And I told him, and he said, all right, where do I sign the papers? So I was so shocked. And the paper were easy, everything, and it was bought cash. So that was my first ever sale
Right.
of real estate. And the first year was a year of, I
Okay.
said, excitement, training, learning, and adapt.
Nice. Nice. So you mentioned that you had some really crazy story. I'm very curious to hear what would you say is your craziest real estate story that you've ever
There's
had?
so many because in real estate, sometimes you try to advise clients, and in advising them, thing doesn't work out as they seem. I remember this client in particular. He was one who was returning home from overseas, turning what do you think I should do? I haven't invested in
Wow. Right. Right.
because he said I was trying to get in,
Wow.
I'm getting in the way of his relationship. He eventually sold the property, sold
Okay.
it, and another colleague of mine who sold it told me he eventually went, oh, the girl left him. I don't know what's happening. Oh, but that's a story, that is
Wow.
memorable and sad. And that's why I
I'm
say
telling
in
you.
real estate, you see it all.
Yeah.
There are those who want to buy,
Wow.
you will say to them, hey, based on your budget, I think you should use this as a first home, and then we can build on that. Build equity in it, possibly sell it if you wish, or you could purchase another one to be their dream. I must say to the viewership, depending on your age
Right.
and where you are, finances, your first home is never, ever your dream home. Why?
That's
A
true.
home takes a
That's true.
lot out of you to maintain. And so sometimes think about your dream home, what it's gonna entail. Swimming pool, courts if you're a sport person, if
Right.
you are like a man who wants a man cave, female shoes closet, and you think about it. So the space alone that
Right.
you require for a dream home, and then to maintain that with painting, to
Mm-hmm.
clean it, to the light bill, the water, to the expense of having the helpers,
Right.
gardeners. And sometimes you're not at that place, so
Right.
it will be much better. And some of us were earning, working with government, working private sector. So the government has a plan of the National Housing Trust. That is a good financial program for us to tap into access. It may not be enough, but you access that along with another financial. And the mortgages already is gonna be
Right.
heavy. So sometimes you just want to earn so you're not paying rent on that mortgage now rather than it being rent. Over time, it's taking care of your business. After 10, 15 years, the mortgage becomes easier because inflation, catch up with you. And then now you feel more comfortable there, you could possibly
Right.
sell that house and purchase something much better in a better neighborhood. Or sometimes there's a turn in your career because
Exactly.
you're growing. And of course, you could actually purchase another home because of the equity you build in that. So we always say start where you are. And if you
Right.
start where you are, then you can go into that. When I came in, we were still in the era of big houses versus what the house on the hills. Shortly after that, we had the financial
Right.
institutions like Cash Plus and Worldwide. So business was booming because persons were selling their properties and
Right.
just putting it in for that 10% every month. Rentals was nice and everything was going nice and
Okay.
easy. After that, the market had to be regulated again by itself. We went through another period. Then now we had the whole issue of national, what they call it, with the banks and the whole downturn in the US economy. And then business took a dive again. And then
Right.
now it came up. So it's always a rise and fall, always a rise and fall. And so it's important for persons to
Right.
understand that
Right.
real estate is really the real cash, real investment that you have. A car always depreciates when you come out of a car mart, but property holds its value.
Exactly.
So if you purchase something this year for $10, you just keep painting it. Some of the things they don't take for the much. Next year the $10 move from $10 to $12 because of the inflation and what happens. So your property appreciates.
Right.
And a lot of the financial institutions, this is what they do. A lot of persons don't know that they are the ones actually, mopping up all the real estate on the market,
Buy it up.
right? Because that's how they service some of their pension funds and some of these things that are happening. So persons are now catching on because we see a lot of young persons, not only in America, the American dreams is owning your condo, a car, and career. We see that happening in Jamaica as well. A lot of young persons want to have their card, but they
Exactly.
also want somewhere for themselves. And they are thinking mortgage, so they are buying. And
Very young,
they
right?
don't necessarily need a big, large space because most are not thinking about a large family. Back then, they were more outdoors, so you needed a big lawn with dogs and children playing. Now we say backyard is removed for your convenience. Persons just want a space where they can
Right.
chill, relax, and most of that is done at the different chill spots, a coffee shop, a bar, the different parks, hubs that are available. So
Exactly.
persons are catching on, and what persons are owning one, but they are long-term rental, and that's what they're doing.
I realize that based on what you've shared just now, you've gone through the highs and the lows of real estate. So I know you've seen the good and the bad. So what I want to ask you now, Sir Ryan, what do you believe in your perspective separates a good agent from a great agent?
Separates us is the people telling me every day that one of the biggest challenge they have is the fact that they expect them to respond and
Right,
they don't respond.
right, right,
We interact with nature because you go, you see the properties, so you learn new stuff. So that makes the career nice. And then now, of course, when you get paid, it is great, but sometimes it takes long to get paid because a sale in Jamaica can go on and on and on and on
right,
and on.
right. It's
And
crazy.
we are the last persons to get paid. So sometimes coming in the industry, persons don't know that about the industry. And
Mhm.
they only see realtors and say, oh, they're always being paid, they're great and so forth. But the deficiency.
I love that answer. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. And I mean, based on what you're sharing, in Jamaica, sometimes it takes 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year before a commission is paid over, correct? Yeah, so how important is it in your eyes to have like a pipeline of clients that are built up so that you get, even if one is gonna get paid next year, you're still getting paid for something in the back from three months ago or whatnot. How important is that to you?
Very in the real estate, it's commission paid. So if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Right.
So you have to live your life, you have bills to pay, you have to treat it. So, some persons think it's their hobby and it's your career. And so having this tool that you are able to do multiple things in terms of rental, sales, and having multiple clients coming in is what keeps us going. And so that's why it's important as realtors for us to ensure that we have what we call integrity. Persons trust us. The service is second to none because it's a service industry. And so I have clients who have never sold anything in the initial stages, but the number of referrals that I get from that client is second to none because just treating them, as I told you, without any kind of judgment, helping them along. Whenever they have somebody they want to purchase, sorry, they will say to me, say to them, listen, Ryan is a guy. So tune into Ryan, and I've gotten a lot of those, and so that is what's keeping me afloat. If you have those, then if a sale is far, you will catch up. That kind of thing.
Exactly. Ryan, so you mentioned that impeccable uh prowess of actually building really great trust and treating everyone with the same respect, treating everyone with a good attitude. What's the secret behind how you actually build trust with your clients? What do you do to build trust with your clients?
Personality is gonna come out. Some of us are more charismatic than others. Some persons are wearing a mask, so they're really not who they are. If you are passionate and zealous about, helping persons to find their solutions, somebody who is selling a house is different from somebody who's buying a house. And if you notice how I term it, when you are selling, I'll talk about you selling your house because after the decent franchise, you're from that no, so I can't call it your home anymore because you won't want to get rid of it. So
Right.
obviously you're actually selling your house, so you're liquidating an asset. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
who is buying now, they're buying into a home, be it whether it's it's something investment or not. And so that is key. You find that for us in the industry, we if we look at dollar value, you may forget that you're treating in people. And so sometimes you have some persons who are deep just to understand them and to adapt. So I find that, listening to your clients, understanding exactly what they want and helping them, because sometimes what they want doesn't really match or add up to what they are going to get.
True.
The best effort as explained to you to work. But that is our duty because they trust us that we know. And whenever you are leading and guiding, it should be that if they do the research, it comes out to prove that you are true. Some realtors are afraid to say they don't know. I
Right.
believe if you're in the industry, you should say you don't know. You should know, but if you don't know, you say, I do not know. However,
Right.
I'm going to find out and I'll get back to you.
Exactly.
Persons like that kind of thing,
Exactly.
as opposed to you trying to tell them something that you don't know, and when they check
Right.
it out,
It don't go
it
like that.
is totally different from what you are
Right.
saying. So those are some of the things that you do to build credibility, and just the service that you do that separates you from the pack as a realtor.
All right. And then I have two more questions for you, Sir Ryan. So first, second to last, penultimate question. How do you want to be remembered in this real estate industry? So when you're old and gray and you retire, how do you want to be remembered from the real estate industry?
Interestingly, while I would love to be remembered as somebody who is known like my boss, Mrs. Levy, God bless her soul. I think she is an icon. I would call her a real estate guru in the
Yes.
industry. When that lady speaks, you just sit and you're soaking up everything she's saying because real estate was her life and passion. And so
Wow.
when she left the industry, all the knowledge that I have right now is credited to her because she taught me a lot of stuff. So in my office, I'm known as the guy, as a FISBO guy for sale by owners only. If
Yeah.
you should tell me that you don't want to sell your house, that you're selling, and you said, sometimes you look in the green and they said, no agents.
Right.
If you look at the green,
You
so they
love
said, no
those.
agents will call. I'm going to call you. And I can get you to
Awesome.
to help me to sell that house. That was part of the Bible society. Even our
Awesome.
conversation when we have on the phone, she is the one who helps us to have like a mirror at her desk, to say, sometimes you're speaking and you don't even understand what you're projecting, but having that mirror in
Right.
front of you can say, this is on my face. This is what's
Right.
happening because your non-verbals are right. So
Exactly.
that part of it, I'd love to go out as somebody known as a guru in the
Mm.
industry. But in addition to that, I'd also like my real estate portfolio to be expanded so that I'm also as wealthy as possible in this goes to.
Of
And
course.
because if you're a realtor in this industry, while we sell and we help persons to serve, I believe that we should be the example.
True.
There are a lot of opportunities that come to us as realtors. And if we are in the right position financially, some of those opportunities can be had. It's just for us to understand that while we help others sell, we also must be a part of that transaction to, build our real estate. Yeah, a lot of my colleagues are doing that now, but
Right.
going out in that style, known as somebody understand the business, know the business, somebody who can be trusted, but also somebody who owns a lot of real estate in Jamaica and possibly internationally. That's how I think I would be, getting that successful.
I love it. I love it, Ryan. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. And my final question for you now, as we close out in this 30th minute, I want to ask you, Sir Ryan, in terms of the real estate industry, right? What would you say is the biggest thing that you have learned in this real estate industry? What's the biggest lesson that you have learned in real estate?
Biggest lesson for me is people and understanding people. And it might sound simple, but it is very important. The simplest of person, you might look at them and say they don't have any money,
Right?
but they are the ones with the money.
Right.
Person who might be faking it to make it,
Right.
might be that person with $0. So the biggest thing I've learned, and Mrs.
Right.
Levy, that's why I say Mrs. Levy will come up again. Should always say, assess those who come to you to know exactly where they are and who you can. So that is one of the biggest lessons for any realtor going forward. Remember, I told you in my first year, or you would call me and say, hey, I'm interested in something in Montego Bay. And I said, what is it you're looking at? I say, a house. And I'd say, okay, I can find you 5 things and come and show you. That's how long, but so as a
Right.
realtor, there are several questions I would ask, how long have you been looking? What have you looked
Right.
at already? Are you looking for a house, an apartment? Is it for something for family? Is it for an investment? What would you prefer? What are some of the things on your preferred list? If you should tick a box, should it have a swimming pool? Should it have a gate? Are you thinking?
Right.
You see how many different things I can
Right.
say and
So many
ask,
different
to
questions.
narrow the focus to say, yes, you are ready. Or I can say, hey, what about your financing? Are you,
Right.
able, should I find it now and say, I'm ready? Would you be ready? Or you would
Right.
say that is something you'd want to work on a little longer. So these are some of the things as an expert realtor now, you're able to have a
Exactly.
better conversation over the phone. And so that's why I say understanding people and understanding your role in the industry, I would say, are 2 big ticket items for you to be successful as a
Right.
realtor.
All right. Yes. So thank you so much, Sir Ryan. It's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure just being here, basking in your expertise and just hearing some of the things that, I've never heard some of these things before. And it's just so wonderful to be here taking in and soaking in your knowledge, you know? So what I want to say now for the viewers who are out there who want to connect with you, maybe other real estate agents who want to co-broke or other persons, buyers or sellers who want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you? What are your socials and your contacts? How can they reach to you?
Persons who are trying to reach out, and I know there are persons who are local and in the diaspora, ensure that they are dealing with a credible source, somebody who is registered and licensed as a realtor. There are several
Right.
persons who say they are registered, but they aren't, and so they can go to the real estate board on the board. So
Right.
realtor is not just somebody who buy and sell house. A realtor, in fact, the word realtor is a trademark name. And so it's given to those who abide by a special code of ethics. So
Right.
we operate on that special code. And so persons must know that. Said that if you want to reach out to me, I'm going to be giving you
Mm-hmm.
it. And of course, my Facebook handle is Ryan Martell. So it is easy, simple, 1, 2. And if you forget everything, you can always shoot me a WhatsApp on the same 29774 there. If you just research me in
Awesome.
Jamaica, I am there. And of course, if you forget, always rewatch this clip and you can get all the necessary benefits. I encourage everyone,
Definitely.
owning a home is not beyond you, of course. Some persons say that they will never be able to own. Some persons say they will never be able to do it. Just give me a call and I'll tell you exactly how you can make it. I have a roadmap to help you to own your own home or to get to where you
Wonderful.
want to. Starts with a single step. The journey of a 1,000 miles begin with the first step. Thanks for having me. Thanks for listening in, and I look forward to a working relationship with my fellow realtors and of course the client. I stand ready to serve you in whatever real estate capacity you may have.
Most definitely, Sir Ryan. Most definitely. Yes, and thank you again for taking your time out to join us. For any of the real estate agents out there who are looking to do some marketing and maybe even become an expert like Ryan right here, you can go ahead and reach out to us at meetings with an S hubspot.com /PTS /real estate. and we'll go ahead and show you, some of the things that you can do, the things that are actually working in real estate in Jamaica right now, and, help you to meet your goals going forward. Thank you again for listening to us. This has been the Promise to Succeed podcast. You can go ahead and follow the show, share it with your fellow realtors, and go ahead and keep listening. We'll be having another episode next week with another expert real estate agent. Thank you. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing. Keep being great.